Hi, this is Patrick with Royas, and you may not know this about me, but I'm really not the biggest fan of the Godot JSON serializer. I know, surprising. It's not like I've said anything about this. So today, I figured let's go on a journey and see if we can find a better JSON Godot serializer on the Godot asset library. Let's go. Okay. So now that we know that we're looking for a JSON serializer, we need to decide what the JSON serializer needs to do in order for it to be a viable one to use. The first thing it needs to do is support GDScript. I'm working on a networking series in GDScript, and I'm going to be sending JSON data across the network, so it has to support GDScript. The second thing it needs to do is support custom class types. Currently, the Godot JSON serializer doesn't do that. And that's actually kind of a really big deal to me, is that just makes the workflow so much harder. The next thing it needs to do is handle nested custom class types. So if you have like a player, you can have the player, then you have your inventory, and then items in your inventory, and it needs to support all those different custom types with different functionality in them, or data. Then it needs to be able to support the obviously standard Godot objects that are already in there. So like vector 2s and string names, it needs to support all of that. And finally, it needs to support JSON arrays. So some JSON serializers don't support JSON arrays, but if you have like an inventory, it makes sense to have that as an array. So those are the things that we need. Now there's going to be some bonuses. The first bonus is if it supports C#, that's even better. Standardizing across GDScript and C#, that'd be fantastic. Then I'll be looking at performance. If it has good performance, I'm not gonna complain. Now, also we'll be looking at documentation. If the documentation's super simple and it's super easy to follow and use, perfect. And finally, we'll be looking for asynchronous support. So if you can run it on a second thread and it's not blocking, great. All right, let's see if any JSON serializer actually meets these requirements. All right, I went to the Godot asset library and I found these 4 that seem to meet my requirements. They are the JSON class converter, total JSON, Godot improved JSON, and simple JSON class converter. Okay, so first off, total JSON only supports C#, so that's an instant no. We can't use that one. It needs to support GDScript. Next, we have Godot improved JSON. It looks like it's good until you see that it doesn't support nested object types. So that immediately disqualifies it, but also I just couldn't get it working. So that also disqualifies it too. So that leaves us with JSON class converter and simple JSON class converter, which is kind of funny since they sound both almost the same. So when comparing the two, I had them serialize these classes. I had them serialize the player data class, which took in a player name, which was a string name, a level, which was an int, a max HP, also an int, inventory, which was an array of items. And then I had them serialize the item class as well, which were an item name, which took in a string name, item quantity, an int, and then item type, which was a custom enum type that I'd made in another class. So both JSON class converter and simple JSON class converter did everything on my needed list. They supported GDScript, they supported custom classes, everything I needed. Now let's go on to the bonuses. Neither of them supported C#. That was a problem for me, but not a giant one. Their documentation, both super simple to use. They were just one line of code to serialize, one line to deserialize. Great, fantastic. Neither of them supported async, which kind of sucks. Now let's go on to the performance. For the performance test, what I'm doing is I'm serializing one player data type, and then I'll be serializing 10,000 items in their inventory that will be randomly generated. Okay, now onto the results. As you can see here, serializing data with the JSON class converter took about 560 milliseconds to serialize all that data, and then it took 930 milliseconds to deserialize all that data. Those aren't fantastic numbers, but let's go on to simple JSON and see if they are any better. And it's not looking promising. Simple JSON, when you serialize all that data, it takes 926 milliseconds, and then it takes another 456 milliseconds to deserialize. Now, just for my curiosity, I decided to compare these to the built-in Godot serializer. Now, as you can see, the Godot built-in serializer significantly faster at serialization with only 36 milliseconds to serialize all that data. And it's even faster when deserializing it at only 20.8 milliseconds. It's not even close. Now, I will say that Simple JSON was giving me much closer numbers yesterday before recording, but then I came back to record today and its numbers shot way up. Nothing changed, I'm not sure why, but keep that in mind. You can see here that they are a lot closer to the built-in Godot serializer speeds, but this is to be expected as both JSON class converter and simple JSON class converter are pure GD script implementations and they don't use C++ or C#, so they're gonna have a big performance hit. All right, as you can see, they both kind of suffer when it comes to performance as they're both pure GD script implementations. So I'll probably not use them in any performance applications, but I will use them in my tutorial series for the networking. I might just, in my own projects, use one for the serialization and the other for deserialization, as they both seem to excel at different aspects of that. But if I really needed the performance, I'd just stick with the built-in Godot one. Hopefully someday somebody builds a C++ or Rust implementation of a Godot serializer. That would be fantastic. I would be so happy if they could get a massive performance gain by using Rust or C++. All right, thank you guys for watching. And if you liked this video, I know it's different than our normal type, but if you liked it, please like and maybe subscribe. And please keep an eye out for our networking series. That's coming out relatively soon here. I'm going to be recording probably end of next week. So keep an eye out. Thanks. Bye.